Kuznangpo students, welcome to Bhutan e-learning project. This is commerce lesson for Key Stage 5, that is for classes 11 and 12. Okay students, I hope you are ready for the class now. Before I actually start with today's lesson, I would like to recapitulate whatever we have learned in our previous lesson. Students, do you remember? We did discuss about human activities in our previous lesson. And under that human activities, I talked about economic activities and non-economic activities. And under that economic activities, I talked about business. So for today's lesson, I'm sure that it will be easy for you to understand because you already got some concept about the topic. So with this, our topic for today's lesson is business organization. As I already told you, this is not a new topic for you because we already discussed about business, isn't it? So before I give the real meaning for business organization, I would like to highlight on our objectives for today's lesson. At the end of this lesson, each one of you are expected to give the meaning for business organization, state the objectives of business, define sole trader, describe the features, advantages and disadvantages of sole trader, define partnership, explain the purpose of establishing partnership business, and finally, you are expected to describe the features, the advantages and the disadvantages of partnership. So can we start now? Yes. So we will start with our main topic, that is business organization. Business organization, it is an entity aimed at carrying out economic activities by providing goods and services to the customers. I told you in my previous lesson also that business is an entity which are engaged in production of goods and services, and then they will distribute to the consumers with the aim of earning profit. You will get to know more about this because we have more examples later on. And business organization may be owned by individuals or group of people. Business can be owned by individual or it can be owned by group of people. So there are different kinds of business. You will come to know more later on, okay? Okay children, now let's look at the objectives of business. Business as an entity, they have their own objectives. For your better understanding, I have grouped the objectives into two groups, that is economic objectives and social and national objectives. Let us first look at economic objectives. Under economic objectives, we have profit. You know profit, isn't it? It's very simple. Primary objective of every business enterprise is to earn profit. No business will like suffering from losses. Everybody will wish to have or earn profit. Profit is required for the enterprise growth, for the enterprise goodwill or let's say reputation, or for the expansion of the business. Next we have is creating market. Another objectives of business, that is economic, another type of economic objectives, creating market. An enterprise cannot exist without finding new markets for their products. They need to explore, they need to explore the market, study about the market, and then they need to find new markets for their product. Because if they don't do that, if they don't do research for their market, then they won't get customers for their product. Next is innovation. Innovation refers to introduction of new ideas or new methods of production. No business can flourish in a competitive world without innovation. Innovation, having new ideas, having new methods for the production so that they can really compete with their competitors. And then next is optimum utilization of resources. Business entity, they have to really take care of the resources, be it human resources, be it financial resources, be it raw materials. They really need to take care of the resources. They really need to make good use of the resources so that this can cut down the cost of production. Okay, before we really start with social and national objectives, let me quickly recollect economic objectives. They are profit, exploring new markets, innovation and proper utilization of resources. Okay, now let's look at the social and national objectives. Okay, students, I will now move on with social and national objectives. For that, we have supply of quality goods at fair prices. Business should ensure that there is a supply of useful products with good quality at reasonable price. They really need to make sure that they provide goods of better quality, that also at reasonable prices. That is their first social or national objective. Another one is avoidance of unfair trade practices. This is very important. As a business entity, they should not indulge in practicing undesirable activities like black marketing, like hoarding, like adulteration. If they are indulged in all those activities, then they are not fulfilling their social or national objectives. Let me elaborate more on black marketing, hoarding and adulteration. Okay, black marketing is very simple. Doing something illegally, selling something illegally, which they are not supposed to sell actually. This is not allowed according to the Business Act. And then hoarding. Hoarding means, stocking up or hiding larger quantity of products for yourself so that you can sell those products in future and then you can earn more profit by increasing the price. If you do that, then that is hoarding. This can happen in this kind of situation which we are going through these days. These days our situation is really difficult because of COVID-19, isn't it? So during this time, if our retailers or if our shopkeepers, if they stock of goods and then if they sell when there is shortage in the market at a higher price, to make more profit, then that is hoarding. So I fully hope that this will not happen in Bhutan. And another one is adulteration. Adulteration is also undesirable trade practice because adulteration refers to, making inferior goods, meaning lowering the qualities of the product. For example, if you are selling milk in the market, if you add water in the milk and then if you increase the quantity of your product, then that is adulteration, which is really not good or which is really undesirable practice in the business. Okay, we are done with two social and national objectives. Now again we have generation of employment. Yes, creating employment in the society, giving job opportunities to the people is another business objectives, social and national objectives. They should create job opportunities and at the same time they should also look after the welfare of their employees. And another one is protection of environment. As a business entity, you should not always focus on making profit. At the same time, you should think of the environment also. Well, in the process of producing your product, in the process of producing your services, if you forget our natural environment, then you are not really concerned about the country. So when you do business, you have to think about the environment and you have to take care of the environment. You have to make sure that your business is not harming the environment. Okay, children, the next one we have is self-sufficiency. Business must aim at achievement of self-sufficiency. It is through growth and development of the business that country try to achieve self-sufficiency. Business, they should really do well actually, and they should always try to make self-sufficient in the country. The development of the country actually depends on the growth of the business. Okay, children, now I'm done with objectives, okay? I hope I'm not boring you all. Hope all of you are with me. So now we are done with the objectives, we are done with economic objectives, and we are done with national and social objectives. Now I will take you through types of business organization. There are 4 types. They are sole trader, partnership, cooperative, and company. You need not worry by looking at those topics because I will not take you through all these topics. In this lesson, I will be focusing only on these 2, that is sole trader and partnership. Okay, sole trader business. A sole trader is a form of business organization which is owned by a single person who bears the entire business risks. By the name itself, it means one-man show, Sole trader meaning, sole meaning one, isn't it? In other words, you can say sole proprietorship, because this kind of business is owned by a single person. Now let's look at the features. Individual ownership. See, individual ownership. There is only one owner in this kind of business. He or she, takes all the risks. He or she should invest the fund by himself. That's why the ownership belongs to one person here. Next one is one-man control. The proprietor manages the whole business himself. The proprietor manages the whole business himself. There may be other persons to help him, but the ultimate control lies with him. Next is no distribution of profit. No distribution of profit. It's obvious that because there is only one owner, he need not have to share his profit with anybody. He can enjoy all the profit by himself. Next is unlimited liability, meaning the owner of the business is personally liable for all the debts and loans of the business. If the business has some loans or some debts, then the owner is solely liable for that. There is nobody to share his liability. The liability is not limited up to his investment. Okay, so with this we are done with the features, children. Let's recollect quickly. Individual ownership, one-man control, no distribution of profit, and unlimited liability. Okay, now let's look at the advantages. What are the good things about sole tradership? What are the good things? First one is easy formation. Is the sole trader business, is the one-man business. That's why it's very easy to start. Next one is incentive to earn more, incentive to earn more, meaning how much effort you put in, you will get that much reward. That's why, since it's a one-man business, you will have so many opportunities to put in all your best, and then you can earn more. Next is secrecy, secrecy. As a sole trader business, since there is only one person in the business, the sole trader business need not have to disclose the secrecy of the company. Now, when I say secrecy of the company, I'm talking about balance sheet and profit and loss account. Some of you may be knowing the meaning of balance sheet if you are in class 12, meaning of balance sheet and profit and loss account. But for class 11 students, I'll give you the meaning for profit and loss account and the meaning for balance sheet. Profit and loss account is the account which will show the profit and loss status of the business, whether the company or whether the business is earning profit or whether the business is suffering from losses. That is shown in profit and loss account. That is one thing. Another one is balance sheet. Now, balance sheet will show you the assets and liabilities of the business. Assets, what are the assets of the business? And what are the liabilities of the business? What are the dues, what are the debts of the business is the liability part. So, assets and liabilities are shown in the balance sheet. Now, these profit and loss account and balance sheet, you need to actually disclose to the people if it is some other business. But sole trader, you need not do that. You don't have to show your final account, or you don't have to show your balance sheet to the people. You can keep all for yourself. That's why you can really maintain the secrecy of the business. That is one advantage. Another advantage is promptness of decision, meaning you can take decisions quickly. Since there is only one person in your business, the control is all in your hand, you can decide whatever you want quickly. You don't have to ask anybody. So, quick decision. Okay, now children, we finished discussing about the advantages. Now, I'll move on with disadvantages of sole trader. So, first disadvantage is limited financial and managerial resources, meaning financial and managerial resources are limited here. The reason is because there is only one person here. So, when there is only one person, there is nobody to contribute in terms of finance also, in terms of ideas, talents also, there is nobody to contribute. That's why, be it any kind of resources are limited here. Next one is unlimited liability. Unlimited liability. I discussed under the features also. Do you remember? Yes, isn't it? Unlimited liability meaning the person or the owner is personally liable for all the debts and loans of the business. For that, he may lose his own personal property also to cover the dues. Next one is limited opportunities. Limited opportunities. Due to unlimited liabilities and limited resources, sole proprietor cannot take bigger risks. Resources are limited, liability is unlimited. That's why he cannot take bigger risks, and then he cannot explore all the opportunities. And finally, we have uncertain life. Uncertain life, meaning the life of the business is directly connected with the life of the owner. If anything happens to the owner, the business should shut down. Like in case of death of the owner, in case of insolvency of the owner. Insolvency meaning, class 12 students, I'm sure you must be knowing the meaning. For 11 students, insolvency means state of having no money at all. That is insolvency. So if the owner is insolvent, then the business will shut down. That's why business life is uncertain. Okay, now we have partnership. Can you see a picture here? See, partner, meaning you have a friend now, isn't it? So, partnership business is formed with 2 or more persons entering into a contract for gathering the required resources to run the business, shoulder the responsibilities and share profits or losses. Now, partnership business is formed by 2 or more persons. Now, they will share the responsibilities also. Similarly, they will share the profit and losses also. Why partnership business? Why it is important? Because they have better resources now. Unlike sole trader, they have better resources because they are more contributors. Better managerial talents. When there are more people, there will be more talents, there will be more ideas. So, better managerial talents. And then diffused risks, meaning when there are more people in the business, you can always share the risks. Okay, features. Very simple now. Since you know the meaning, features, I'm sure you can draw the features yourself also. Still then, let's discuss here. Feature number 1, agreement between 2 or more persons. Agreement between 2 or more persons. The business agreement is made between 2 or more persons. The sharing of profit and losses. If there is profit, you will share the profit. Or if there is losses also, you have to share the losses. Then is a lawful business. Please remember that is a lawful business. The business should abide by the business ethics. And then unlimited liability, same like sole trader. All the partners are liable for all the debts and loans of the business. And then mutual agency is a mutual agency. One cannot decide anything without the consent of the other partner. Okay, advantages. More resources compared to the sole trader. We already discussed, isn't it? When there are more people in the business, there will be more resources. Then combined abilities and ideas. Same thing. When there are more people, there will be more ideas. So they can combine all those abilities, all those ideas, and then they can really make their business grow well. And then encourage cooperation. When people work in team, there will be cooperation. Encourage in cooperation. Then better credit worthiness. Children, can you see here? Better credit worthiness. It means when there are more people in the business, there will be more contributors, or there will be more securities if they want to seek loans from the bank. Then risk sharing. When there are more people in the business, they can share the risks. And business secrecy, same like sole trader. If it is case with joint stock company, you cannot maintain the business secrecy, okay? I will not talk much on this now because it is going to confuse you all. Let's come back to partnership and sole trader only. For partnership and sole trader, they can really maintain the business secrecy. Meaning, they don't have to disclose their balance sheet and profit and loss account to the people. I hope now by now you know the meaning of balance sheet and profit and loss account because I have explained earlier. So these 2 things, they really don't have to show it to the people. They can keep it for themselves. That's why they can maintain the business secrecy. Disadvantages now. First one, delay in decision making. Delay in decision making. When people work in group, when they decide something, one people may not agree to another person. There will be, lots of chaos during the discussion, and then that may take time. Delay in decision making. Another one is risks of dishonest partners. When you work with somebody, you cannot really trust somebody because that person may cheat you, isn't it? So if there is any dishonest partner in the business, then that is again one of the disadvantages, because that is going to harm the whole business. If somebody is dishonest in the business, then that is going to harm the business. Next is restricted transferability of interest, meaning they cannot transfer their shares within the partners. Okay, let's say Mr. A, B, C are partners in a business, and certainly if Mr. C want to withdraw from the business, and if Mr. C want to pass his shares to another person, then he cannot do this. And another one is uncertain life. Similarly, like a sole trader, you know, the life of the business is connected with life of the partners. If anything happens to the partners, that will hamper the business. Okay, last one we have is unlimited liability. It's same thing like sole trader, as I already explained in sole trader. Unlimited liability, meaning all the partners are liable for the debts and loans of the business. They are liable for all the debts and loans of the business, irrespective of their investment. Okay. Then, okay, now students, I have some work for you all to explore yourself. Before I give you this question, let us quickly recollect whatever we have learned today. Firstly, we learned the meaning of business organization. Then I gave you the objectives, isn't it? Objectives of business. Under the objectives, objectives are grouped under two: economic objectives, social and national objectives. Then after that, I took you through the types of business, that is partnership. Okay, first one is sole trader, then partnership. Then about the sole trader, you learned a lot, isn't it? You learned the features, you learned the advantages, you learned the disadvantages. And partnership, same thing. Firstly, you learned the meaning, then you learned features, advantages, disadvantages, and why partnership is important. That also you learned, isn't it? So with this, I come to the end of my lesson. And before I really close my lesson, I want you to go through these questions and explore yourself at home, okay? Differentiate between partnership and sole trader business. My first question, you have to differentiate between partnership and sole trader business. Second question, under what situation sole trader business is suitable? Under what situation sole trader business is suitable? How can sole trader business be expanded? How can you expand the sole trader business? Please think of those questions. Try to learn more, okay? Okay, students, with this, I come to the end of my session. I hope you enjoyed my lesson. Thank you for attending this lesson, and I will see you all in my next lesson.